Set the high, and welcome back again today. Today we're going to be talking about the first Somali book published ever, which is Ignorance is the Enemy of Love. Somalia is very known for its ancient history, language, and poetry, but until 1972, Somalia did not have an official orthography. Ignorance is the Enemy of Love is considered to be the first literacy publication for Somalia. Published in 1974 by the Somali Ministry of Culture and Higher Education, the original name of the book was Akandaro wa Una Ab Jail. This book was later translated into English by the translator B.W. Andrzejewski, who was born in Poland. The man behind the book was born in Laskoret in the Sanag region of Somalia in 1937 by the name of Farah Au. As B.W. explains it in English, Farah was educated in Somalia and then won a scholarship to study motor engineering in London. Returning home in the mid-1900s, Farah joined the Somali police force in 1964 till 1979 when he became general manager of the National Transport Agency. While with the National Transport Agency, Farah would write a second book, The Shackles of Colonialism, in 1978. Many years later, during the Somali Civil War in 1991, he and several family members would be killed. His first book, Ignorance is the Enemy of Love, tells of a Somali love story and a Somali's perspective of an invading British and Italian armies. Ali Ma was a Somali man based within the book who was part of the Dervish and Muslim Brotherhood of Sayyid Hassan. This brotherhood was referred to as Mad Mullah by the British colonizers. This story starts off in the 1900s and is the love story of Awurala and Ali Ma. Awurala, a Somali woman, and Ali Ma, a Somali man, would meet on a ship set out to Aden. Both being successful poets, they would get to know each other on the ship. While on the ship would run into a harsh storm and this ship would sink, but Ali Ma was able to save Awurala. This event would pull them stronger together and they would soon fall in love. Once returning back to Somalia, Awurala would write a letter to Ali Ma, but was also promised to a rich man by her family to marry. Awurala, being a strong-spirited Somali woman, did not wait for Ali Ma to confess his love. Instead, she wrote a poem to him to declare her love. Though an unfortunate event would happen, Ali Ma unfortunately could not write or read and did not know that the letter was a love poem. He would go on to ask his brother-in-law to read this letter. This event would go on to insult his wife's family and push Ali Ma to learn to read. Ali Ma goes on to state, "It is now clear to me that not being able to read and write is a matter of great ignorance, in which stupidity and disgrace are combined. I've seen today that ignorance is like a moonless night, like the darkness which screens off from you and the world and the light of day. There's no doubt that whatever a man's inborn abilities may be, whatever his manly qualities, if he is ignorant, his true manhood is flawed and incomplete. When I brought trouble and disgrace on myself and made a fool of myself in front of my wife's relatives." This is from page 35 and 36 within the book. This would make him fall in love with Awurala, but he was also whisked far away to the eastern region after the secret got out. Ali Ma also goes on to state in another poem to her, "You sent to me a precious letter of love. You know this well, and there was nothing in its sweet art and wisdom nor in its mode of expression that could have been ignored or rejected. It created in me a love, adorn, and affection that I had not felt for you before. But it was my ill fortune, Awurala, that because of my ignorance, I could not read your letter, and instead I handed it to my neighbors, who did not want us to come together. The discovery of my secret led to me being hurried away to a remote part of the eastern region, so that I would be kept far away from you, where you lived. There in the east I played my part in a noteworthy way in the Dervish offensive against the British, but before I could reach the coast and see some of their ships, I was wounded and left for dead, where my sustenance had only the berries and leaves which grow on the Cow Mountains. I had beasts of prey for company, all of them, and one night the accursed leopard attacked me, tearing a wound in my flesh, when I already had a broken thigh and was holding on to life only by God's mercy. Nevertheless, In spite of all I had to go through, God rescued me from all the troubles that had come upon me. What I am trying to tell you is that my delay in coming to you was caused by all this, that this is why I did not get to you in time before you were taken to the wedding against your will. Oh, Awurala, how bitter I feel, how deeply sorrow I am, how stricken from impotent anger from which I get no respite, that you had to die because of your love for me. Awurala would be forced to marry the rich man while Alima was at war. She would be so sad, so heartbroken, that she would come off great grief and return back to her father's home. Her younger sister would be offered to the rich man and took her place, but soon after she would die of grief and heartbreak, all before Alima could return. These stories and poems are an oral Somali tradition and are agreed that they are originally composed by Awurala and Alima. So guys, today we learned about the first Somali book published ever. It was translated into English and it is called The Ignorance is the Enemy of Love. This is a story about love, war, and loss, and life being unfair. If you are not aware, Somalia is the land of poets. Poetry is something that is very sacred within the country of Somalia and the people and the culture, and I am very happy that I could share parts of this book with you. If you would like to read the full story, you would have to find the book Ignorance is the Enemy of Love, and I think it would be an amazing book to pick up if you can get your hands on it. Like always guys, please turn on your bell notification down there so you always get my videos. Please also subscribe, check out some merchandise down there while you're at it. And always like me on all social medias, which is Afric Network, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, and Snapchat. Each one teach one. Always love each other. Always learn about your history. Always learn from each other. And always be diplomatic with each other. Yo, until next time, peace. One love.